from Egypt.
Hi.
I'm Forest,
And I'm Nicole.
and we're gonna pump you up.
No, we're not.
We're not?
No, we're going to tell you about Egypt.
Oh, right. Yeah.
What it's really like here.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Yeah, not pump you up. Not at all.
So what's Egypt like?
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's hot.
But we're not talking about hot right now. We're
No.
talking about transportation.
Transportation.
Got wheels?
Ooh, yeah, you're going to need wheels. But don't get your own wheels.
No.
Don't do that.
No.
You're going to need wheels because pretty much as soon as you walk out the airport, you got to go somewhere.
Yep.
Like a hotel. Or, Airbnb or somewhere. You got to have somewhere to sleep. So you got to get there.
So who are you gonna call?
Well, I call Careem.
Me too.
Yeah. So Careem's like the local Uber. Uber is evil. So don't use them. Google it if you don't understand why. But Careem is good.
Right, so Uber is here. If for some reason you are evil and you want to use evil Uber, then
We won't judge you, but still, don't.
We'll judge a little bit.
Okay, just
a little
bit. Just a little bit, but still, no, don't use Uber.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I wouldn't use Uber in the US, I would use Lyft. Here, right. I use Careem.
Careem, it means happy in Arabic.
You can also use London Cab. London Cab's
Yeah.
a little bit more pricey, but they're absolutely great for getting you from the airport or specific locations and sometimes doing tours. And they have a lot of space for your luggage. Whereas,
Good for large groups.
Right. And we have a large family and we have luggage. And so getting them all into a tiny Careem car, not working.
Right, but
so
you
well.
can easily fit, like 5 people in a standard compact car as long as someone sits on your lap. Which we do a lot.
Right.
Or you could do what we see all the time. This is what I call the Egyptian minivan, where there's 2 people in front and 3 or 4 people in the back and 2 people in the trunk, and the trunk is open.
The trunk is open.
And so it's the Egyptian minivan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We try to use our seatbelts, despite the fact that
the Egyptian minivan thing. We
Egyptians
just have,
don't use seatbelts.
One kid on our lap in the back seat.
Right.
With a seatbelt, usually.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to take Careem.
Right.
Or a taxi.
There's an app.
But no, right. Are you supposed to take the taxi?
No.
No, don't take the taxi.
Take the taxi.
Why not?
The taxi
is
evil. Now, if you're a taxi driver, we're sorry, but there are things that your fellow taxi drivers are doing that are making life horrible for Egyptians and for foreigners and for everybody.
For Egyptians, it's mostly bad for foreigners.
Right,
and the Egyptians figure it out.
The taxi drivers had like a riot recently to try to get ride sharing to stop happening, but the thing is that ride sharing is continuing to happen because. Yay. The customer service is basically awful. So, let me give you my one example of being in a taxi, which is my one and only. It was a mistake. It was an accident.
Forest.
So, here's what happened.
Okay,
I was in Smart Village, and I was at the Microsoft office, and I was waiting for my Careem, which was white. And a white car showed up just at the moment that my app said that the Careem was going to show up. And it was white. And I'm like, oh, okay, white.
But
and
taxis
and it pulls
are
over.
white.
Taxis are white.
Right.
And evil.
In Cairo, taxis are white. In Alexandria,
they're yellow and black.
And yellow, right.
Mm-hmm.
So white.
In Cairo, they're white, and they have a little line of checkers.
Yeah. And sometimes they say taxi.
And so I was naive, as I often am, as any foreigner is going to be.
Yeah.
And so the thing about taxis, and in general, buying things, if you're a foreigner, especially a white-looking foreigner, especially an English-speaking foreigner, especially an American foreigner.
Yeah.
See, American means, you can spend a lot of money.
Well, it's probably because, 1 Egyptian pound is, like 5.5 cents US. So for $1 US, you get 20 Egyptian pounds worth of stuff. It's a big difference. We are really rich here.
But my Egyptian friends say that they get ripped off by taxi drivers as well. It's not just us. It's also Egyptians.
We'll just get ripped off worse.
And the other thing is that there's a bartering culture here, and so you're expected to barter, and you're expected to barter for a good price.
In Arabic.
Yeah.
But then you have to learn Arabic.
But most Americans aren't even good at bartering because, it's this price or you go somewhere else.
Right.
You don't. There's no bartering. What is bartering? So.
What? That makes me uncomfortable.
Or haggling. That's really the word, not bargaining.
Right.
And so.
I just want my stuff. I'll pay for it.
So here's what happened. So I got into the car, and I'm like, oh, this must be a Careem that's also maybe a taxi driver because it looks like a taxi, but it also looks like a Careem, and he must have the app, and so
That's
he's going to take me
confusing.
where I want to go.
He'll get you there.
And so we started driving along, and then he stopped at a security stop. There are a lot of security stops in Egypt.
I think they're good.
And so he talked to them, and then they talked to me, which is often happens when you're either in a cab or a Careem or anywhere, because they want to know like where you're going, making sure that like you're not gonna threaten to do something awful, whatever. It sounds like a legit safety thing. So they ask me where I'm going, and I tell them, oh, I'm going to Khan El Khalili, which is a tourist location to buy lots of stuff, which is a totally different topic. And so they're like, oh, okay, this is where he's going. And so then they're like, oh, are you willing to pay? I think it was like 200 Egyptian pounds. So I'm like, oh, that's a little high for that distance. But it's okay. Like it's within the threshold of being okay. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so we drive along. And then we stop at the gas station, and like this is really weird. A Careem has never ever for me stopped at a gas station. So he stops. I don't even think he filled up. I think he looked under his hood briefly and
left the meter running.
Probably, but I don't think he used the meter anyway. They are supposed to have meters, and they are supposed to work.
Like the seatbelts work.
Even if they did, it would be in Egyptian numbers, which I know. And we'll talk about Egyptian numbering in a different talk. But anyway, so okay, so
you mean how the 3 looks like a moose? Oh, okay, I'll tell you later.
After he got back in the car, we drove on some more, and about halfway to the destination, Khan El Khalili, he stopped again, and this time he just got out of the car, and like we weren't at like a place.
He just got out of the car.
Yeah, he just got out of the car, left the car running. He only knew Arabic, so like we couldn't really talk. And so so he gets out, and he talks to some guy on the street that's like a street vendor, and then he comes back with a pack of cigarettes, offers me one, and then starts smoking. I don't smoke. I said no. So he starts smoking in the cab, and I'm like, okay, this has never happened in a Careem. I'm sure there are Careem drivers that smoke, but I'm paying for this service. Like really?
Not while they're smoking.
You're smoking, and I'm paying you to smoke?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so then we eventually, and by this time I've already figured out that it's a cab.
It's a cab.
Yeah, oops. And I'm like, this is a lesson learning moment. I'm learning why I should not ride in a taxi.
Smart now.
And at least I'm watching the map and making sure that, okay, we are pretty much going in the right direction. So then we eventually get to the destination, and so I give him the money that the security guards had asked for. I gave him exact change, which I only had about 20 more EGP than that in my wallet. And so I gave him the exact change, and then he gave me this look, and it was like the really
I know that look. I know that look. I get that look sometimes.
This is wrong. It's not enough money.
We've had that look before. I know that look.
And
it's you're going to be a sucker and give me more money look,
and so it turns out he wanted more money, and that wasn't the right amount of money. No. And so he gave me another number. I think it was 300. I'm like, oh, okay. So why don't you? So I told him I'm out of money, and I didn't know the word for ATM back then. It's Machina, by the way, which I learned in this thing. And he's like, oh, Machina, because like I mimed like using an ATM. Like I showed my ATM card, pushing buttons, and he's like, oh, Machina. I'm like, Machina.
How to learn Arabic.
Right. So then he starts asking other drivers around us, Machina Fein, which means where's the Machina?
Right.
Where's the ATM?
My sucker could get more money. I mean,
and so there was this one guy that he talked to for a very long time, and then he was done, and it sounded like it was a useful conversation. And so I said to the driver that he was talking to, which was on my side, by the way, he was like talking across me to this guy. I said shukran, which means thank you in Arabic. And then the taxi driver freaked out. Shukran? Shukran? No shukran! Why you shukran? No shukran! And I'm like, but didn't this guy just help you? And he's like, no shukran! And I'm like, okay. So then we drove to the Machina. I took out another 100 so that I would then be able to pay him the 300 that it seemed like we had agreed on.
Right.
And then I got the sad face again. No.
No way.
Yeah, way.
So it went from 200 to 300 to more?
It was supposed to be 300 more. So he
300
showed me on a
more?
phone that he wanted
500 EGP?
right, 500 EGP.
Oh,
So I gave him 500
that's
EGP, and
ridiculous.
I had actually given him
Oh, my
420 earlier, or no, 220 earlier, and
Mhm.
so he actually ended up getting 520 and didn't give me any change.
Oh my goodness.
And then
That's
he
a
wanted me to
lot.
get back in the car, and it was just like a 15-minute walk, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere with you. I am done with
Mhm.
taxis forever.
Right.
So taxi drivers,
Don't take taxis.
that is what you've got to fix.
So-
You've got a huge image problem. Fix that.
Mhm.
I'm sure there are several great taxi drivers out there in Egypt. I'd be happy to talk to them, but that's why you have a bad rep, and that's why we're using Careem.
Right. So Careem, you can pay with cash at the time. You can even pay with a credit card ahead of time.
Mhm.
You can put it on your account online, and they always charge you the same amount.
Yep, and you get an estimate
You
on
get
your
an
phone,
estimate.
just like you would with Uber,
Mhm.
and you can use Uber. You'd be evil,
Uber's
but
evil.
and London Cab, they give you an upfront cost. It's not even an estimate. It's like this is how much you will pay.
Mhm.
And for them as well, you can pay online, but it's a little tricky, and I've never got it to work online. But they have a card machine, and if the card machine has service wherever you are, they can use the card machine. Otherwise, you have to pay cash. So just if you're going to take a London Cab, be ready with cash.
Right.
Something to be aware about with Careem, though, and probably with other services, they're not available everywhere. They're available in like the greater Cairo area. They're available in Alexandria. We haven't been in all of Egypt, but they are not in Marsa Matruh. If you go to Marsa Matruh,
they're not
there's
there.
no Careem.
No, you need a car.
You
there.
need the minivan
or a
or a friend.
Microbus.
Microbus.
Yeah. The other thing I've noticed about Careem is that sometimes the drivers don't have GPS. So if you have GPS, you can use your GPS to help them figure out where to go. Thankfully, some do know what they're doing, or they know mostly where to go. Like today, my Careem driver knew the street I was trying to get to, but not where the exact address was. So by the time we got to the street, I turned on my GPS and helped them get the rest of the way there. So sometimes they need a little help, and sometimes they call you, and sometimes they speak English, and sometimes they don't. So you just kind of have to figure it out and work with them if you need to a little bit.
And if you don't have an Egyptian number, they're probably not going to call you because international rates are really expensive here.
Yeah.
So if the app says that they've arrived and you can't find them, then it would be best for you to call them from your foreign number to their number, or
you get their
have an
name
Egyptian number.
and the car make and the license number and their phone number. And it's really helpful to have that information. And when you open the door, confirm with them. Are you so and so?
Yeah.
Are you is this
And they're
Careem?
supposed to confirm with you as well. They're usually going to ask you, "Are you so and so?"
Right. So don't get in the car.
Right.
If it's sketchy, or if they're not Careem, if they don't say yes Careem or yes this is so and so, just don't get in. Oh, also.
And in Arabic, yes is Sa, and I am is Anna. So to say that I'm Forest, it's Anna Forest.
Anna Nicole. I had something else I was going to say, but. What was it? Oh, right. Know your address. If you're staying in a particular place for a long time, know the address. If you're staying for a particular place for a short amount of time, know the address. It's very helpful because sometimes the drivers don't get much information or don't seem to, and they'll call you and they'll ask you where you are. And so you need to be able to tell them, I am here. I am, in this building, in this group. I am off of this road. It's very important. It's very helpful. If you don't know where you are, it's hard for them to find you. And we've dealt with that too.
And the addresses that we're in now are actually pretty easy in English, but there are some addresses that are tough and are basically in Arabic. So you might just want to get an Arabic neighbor or friend to help you figure out how to pronounce them and say them.
If you don't know your address, have somebody help you figure it out.
Exactly.
And then write it down in a way that you can understand it.
Yep.
So I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. So, what did we learn today? Should we take a taxi?
No.
Taxis are evil. Should we take Uber?
Yeah.
No, Uber is evil. Should we take Careem?
Yeah.
Yay! Cream is good.
Or London Cab.
Or London Cab. Yay!
Yeah.
Or better yet, find a friend who drives. Oh, well.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what driving is like another time.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Hope this helps. Goodbye.